Alana,
Yes.
how are you doing?
I am more awake now. I was really tired this morning. I've been tired for the last couple of days because I haven't been having the best, nights of sleep. I think it's because the weather is changing now to being a little bit more warmer. And, so I'm kind of dealing with that, but otherwise, I'm awake now.
Have you ever considered talking to a doctor about your sleeping issues?
No. No, that I haven't. I mean, I don't think that my issues are that severe.
I don't know, babes.
I don't. And you said that you have before, right?
I've had sleeping issues in the past, yes.
But you've talked to a doctor about it?
Yes, I have.
And what did this person say?
This person said eat as much sugar as you want, stay up, party all the time, but the most important thing is do not keep a regular sleeping schedule. Don't even try to do that.
I think that doctor would be sued for malpractice.
No, just the typical thing. Let's monitor your sleeping. And
Did you go in for a sleep study?
I didn't do anything like that.
Oh,
I just journaled about it and, all that good stuff. You know how I do.
Yes, okay.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, I think it's just because my body, sometimes, like I'm physically tired. I've been physically tired for the last couple of days, but my body just doesn't want to shut down. Usually it does, no problem, but, every time the weather changes slightly, it just throws off my sleep. I've noticed.
I got here before 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
You were tired.
Yes.
And we hung out for a while. Eventually, around 8:26, you said, let's take a nap. I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to fall asleep because I had about 6 hours of rest the night before. But I fell right asleep almost immediately.
Oh, yes, you did.
What's that supposed to mean?
I heard some noises.
You probably heard very little.
No, I heard a lot. I really did.
No,
I know. I know that you want to say that I am like lying about this, but I actually did. I did hear something.
You probably, what you did, babes, is you put your ear right up to my nose. And heard something was like, I discovered it.
No.
I snore.
No, I was on the, I would not.
Let me get a little bit closer. I can barely hear it, but I hear something.
No, I would not lie to you about that.
Okay.
I'm actually not lying about it.
Nice.
But you must have been tired. And it took me a while, and then I finally went to sleep, and I think I must have been sleeping for at least an hour or two. But I really needed it.
We got out of bed and go to your living room, get on the Clubhouse, and go to this Italian cooking room that we both really enjoyed.
It's really fun.
You fell asleep again.
I did fall asleep again, but I heard, what I heard while I was awake was really interesting about the dough that you can use for lasagna. You can buy a dough that you don't need to, what did he say? You can buy a dough that you can just put in the pan and bake it. Or you can buy a different kind of dough where you have to do something with it. I can't remember what it was. And then he talked about making a balsamic vinegar glaze with the real Italian imported balsamic vinegar and putting it on ice cream. And I thought, I never would have thought about that.
He did mention that the other day when we were in another room that he hosts.
Yeah, and I know that he talked about it, putting it with, on cheeses and, different meats too. Which I think is delicious.
It's a little bit pricey, but it does sound really good.
A drop will do ya.
Yes.
Just a little drop will do ya.
I hope so. Whoa.
That's what I hear, yeah.
Yes.
A drop or a few, at the most. Yeah. Yes.
Babes.
Yes.
I got very excited last night.
Yes, I'm sure. Oh, do we want to talk about the comments we heard before we get on the subject?
Okay, we can do that.
Okay.
There was a lady in there who said, I want to know more about balsamic vinegar. Which I thought was just funny.
And then was it the same lady that was like, "Oh, I'm just listening because you sound wicked cool, man."
It might have been her, it might have been somebody else, but they sounded very similar. And then one lady, he goes in and is like, "Feel free to ask any questions," and she's like, "Yeah." Or what does she say?
Okay, so she gets on the thing, and she's like, "Nice to meet you," and he's like, "Oh, nice to meet you too. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask any questions." And she's like, okay.
She sounded like she was just about ready to go back to sleep.
Yeah, I just got out of bed to say hello, but I'm going back to sleep now. Oh my goodness. She sounded tired than I was.
I know, babe.
And I was tired.
Yes, you were.
Yes, I was.
Yes. It looks like, babes.
Yes.
I got my shot on Wednesday, and I might have a summer this year.
Oh, we're going to go here now.
Why not? Okay.
I was hoping you weren't going to talk about it, Bob.
Oh. We need something to talk about, babes.
We can talk about a lot of stuff.
All right, why don't you choose a subject, and if it gets boring, we'll go back here.
What else did you learn in that room today? Because there's always something interesting. I think I fell asleep through some of it. But what else did you learn about like pasta doughs and stuff?
I think the thing I took away was when he was talking about the shell pasta and how he was talking about a particular dish and saying, if you use regular spaghetti or something like that, you're just going to leave everything else on the bottom of your bowl. That's why you want to use shell pasta for certain things.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Huh. That is so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very good.
Very good, you will.
Yes.
Okay, so this is why I picked the subject.
Oh no, why?
Because, or else there's going to be a lot of silence.
I know, but then I was thinking about what else to talk about. It wasn't like I don't know anything.
What else do you want to talk about?
What else was I? Oh, yes. So let's go back to the sleep thing.
Yes.
Was there anything that this person told you that was different than what anyone could have told you about not sleeping or sleeping, having a better sleep?
He was basically just saying, we want to monitor this, and you might want to think for a short amount of time, not forever, going on some medication, but it would be something natural, like
melatonin.
Yes. In fact, I think he said melatonin.
Yes. Speaking of sleeping, so
Yes.
I was on this website called eachnight.com because I heard something that they were hiring people to take naps for their company.
Yeah.
And they're paying them like $1,500. But I have to find out about that because I couldn't find that on the website. But they talk about, I was skimming through some articles. I didn't read all of them, but I didn't read a lot of them, but they, were talking about like the best mattress for side sleepers, zero gravity mattresses, or what you do is you have like, an adjustable bed and you can set it to 0 degrees, or you can have a 0 degree, function. And it's supposed to be for people that sleep on their back. And then they were talking about, I didn't read this one, but I thought it would be interesting to read about what is the best length of nap, which I think is kind of interesting. And then they have like tips for having a better sleep and things like that. But I want to go back on there and look some of the things up.
I think that's probably a good idea, babes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
That's right, Jaylo.
But I find as I get older, I really, really appreciate naps and sleeping.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I understand now why my parents and my teachers was like, oh, you have to take a nap, because if you don't take a nap, you're not going to grow. And that's true. It is very true, because sleeping is so good for your health. Mm-hmm. It's good for your brain. It's good for your body when you're sick. And it's one of the best things you can do for yourself. Okay?
Yes, right, Jaylo.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you want to bring up another subject, or would you like me to?
All right. Go bring up. Why do we have to talk about this though?
Because it's a huge thing.
Okay.
In my life, and I don't know about yours. Yesterday, we got on the phone and we're having a debate about vaccines. And I did get vaccinated this week on my sister's birthday, May 12th, 2021. She's 40.
I don't think we should put her. I don't think we should put her age on here.
Okay.
I don't think she would. Yeah, but she may not. If she ever comes up on this episode, I don't think she would appreciate that.
I'm lying about her age.
I know how old I do know how old she is, but I'm not going to say it here. I think it's a little bit rude.
She's 27 and she's my older sister. In any event, I get vaccinated, get some pushback from my Jaylo about how, oh, yes, it's going to affect me, Bob. And we get into a...
Well, that's something that that there are people that are very concerned about.
There is some cause for looking into this, and we don't know all the facts yet.
Oh, well, I'm going to find some.
But I told you yesterday that one of the big reasons I was getting vaccinated was because I'm tired of these mask restrictions. And you said, they're never going to loosen them, Papa, now that they got them in effect.
No, I never said that.
You said something
I was skeptical about it.
You were skeptical that they were going to loosen them.
And I also made this point. I don't know if it was a very good one, but I made this point that, hey, it's good for people that are double vaccinated or the ones that got one dose of that other vaccination. But what about the people that don't want to be vaccinated and that choose not to be vaccinated? It's not fair for the rest of the ones that don't want to be. So now we have to suffer because the other ones, because other people are not so restricted anymore or won't be so restricted. And I don't think it shouldn't be it should not be it is fair for some people and not fair for others. And so, yeah, I mean, and everybody else is thrown under the bus. That's how I felt. Life
isn't fair sometimes, babes, but in any event.
No, life isn't fair, of course, but that is really, that's not right. It's one thing to be not fair, but if it's not fair and not right, then there's something wrong there, I think.
Well,
while everybody else can't, while some people can breathe and everybody else can't breathe.
I can't speak to that, but what I can say is we get off of the phone yesterday. I go about my day, and maybe my cough is related to the vaccine. I don't know, but
well, you cough quite a bit, though.
I do. I saw the news that the CDC released new guidelines, basically saying that if you've been fully vaccinated and have waited the 2 weeks, you no longer have to wear masks, or they're recommending saying that people should no longer have to wear masks indoors or in most social situations inside with a few exceptions. And a couple of days before this, I was actually partially hesitating getting the vaccine, only because our governor came on the news and said, well, we're going to lift a lot of restrictions, but the masks might still be in effect for a while, even after you've been vaccinated. We're just going to have to wait and see. So he was a little bit vague about the mask stuff. So that stopped me for like 5 minutes and made me think about it. But I decided to go ahead and get the vaccination. Yesterday, Governor Kate Brown gets on the news and says that she is going to honor the recommendations from the CDC starting immediately. So starting last night, people who have been fully vaccinated don't have to wear masks outside or in most indoor situations with a couple of exceptions.
And I was skeptical about it because she has flipped on when Multnomah County specifically was going to open. Because at one point we were in the extreme risk category, then we were at the high risk category, then we were back to extreme risk category. Now we're back to high risk category. And that we were supposed to be open in July, then we were supposed to be open in September, Now it's mid-May, and it's, if in fact she does not go back on this, which I hope she doesn't, then maybe I will believe that she is actually going to honor people's wishes and start opening things up again.
I think with her announcement last night, it's going to be very difficult for her to go back on this.
Yeah. But I think we'll just have to wait and see what she does and what she says.
I think it's very cool, babe. So my summer, because I still have to get the second dose and wait the extra 2 weeks, will officially start on June 16th.
And I'm willing to sacrifice a summer just because I do not want to put anything in my body that I don't know what's in it. And, I refuse to do it.
I'm still going to come over here on the weekends because you need a contact with the outside world.
No, I think I might, I will see.
No, babe, you need to see how the other half is living.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, fine. Have a lonely summer without me.
What's that supposed to mean? No, but I mean, I'll come over here during the weekends, but during the week I'm going to, go outside more.
Oh my goodness.
Can I get a kiss?
No.
Yeah.
Are you going to gloat? Are you going to rub it in my face, Bubby?
Babes, technically, you could go maskless before me.
How's that?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
You could book an appointment for, let's say Monday even. You could book an appointment right now for Monday, get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
I'm not going to get it. No.
I know. But then 2 weeks after that, so which Monday? Is Monday the 17th?
Monday is the 17th, yes.
So that means by June 1st, you could be maskless. And I don't even get my second shot until the 2nd.
Well, I know, but I'm still not going to do it.
Well, I'm just saying technically you could outdo
and
it.
I really don't want to, get any blood clots with this one.
I don't either. So give me a kiss.
No.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
You might have cootie.
Oh, what if? They say, babes, Kate Brown was saying that you should also kiss people because it helps prevent against blood clots. So give me a kiss.
She wouldn't say that? Okay.
Yes, you give me a kiss. I love you, babes.
I love ya.
But yeah, I'm still going to come over here during the summer, and I'll let you know what's going on in the outside world, and, babes, I love you. I love you, babes. Babes.
It's probably best you don't tell me anything, Bubs.
Oh. I'll tell you about all the people I see die on the side of the road because they lifted their masks.
Bubs, come on.
No. I love you, babes.
Come on, Bubs.
Let's get to a more controversial subject that maybe we both agree on.
Okay, what's that?
How defunding the police has completely backfired in Portland.
Oh, absolutely. So I heard this on the radio that, Coin 6 News, if I can say that, yes?
Yeah, you can.
Coin 6 News was doing a piece about, is Portland over? Did you hear about that?
I did hear about it. I didn't watch it, but I did hear about it.
I did not, obviously I didn't watch it. I haven't been watching the local news for a while, but, this is nuts. I mean, I already knew this was going to happen, and this is what's going on in other cities like Chicago. I think, Minneapolis, Minnesota, of course. They have, lost a lot of police officers because they walked off of the force. And it's just devastating. It really is. It's devastating.
Well, in fairness, a lot of police officers are quitting in support of corrupt cops. Not because of defund the police.
No, I think some of them, I don't think all of them are doing that. I think some of them are quitting because they're not being respected because they haven't been getting any respect from some of these citizens that are in these cities. I don't think it's just because they support corrupt cops.
A lot of cops have come out on the record and said that that's why they've left the police force, is in support of cops who have brutalized people.
Don't you think there might be something behind it? Not that they're supporting cops, but they're supporting cops that have been, is it possible that it's not so much that they're supporting corrupt cops, but that they're supporting cops that have been wrongfully accused? Because some cops have been wrongfully accused.
I'll tell you the blatant case that I've heard about. And I wish I remember the guy's name, but last summer during the protest, there was a man in his 70s who's a white guy. And he was, I want to say this is Connecticut, but it's probably wrong, but it's somewhere on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And he was walking down the street and some cops pushed him to the ground. And as a result, he had a head injury, had to go to the hospital. I believe it's something like 57 cops from that precinct walked off of their jobs because they decided to punish the cops who pushed them to the ground.
And who is the outlet who reported this?
Secular Talk reported it.
Of course,
and
Secular
I believe
Talk.
the TYT might have talked about it too, but I know for sure Kyle talked about it from Secular Talk.
Yeah, those secularists.
Oh, Kyle's really... I agree with a lot of what Kyle says.
Of course you do.
Oh. So let me clarify my position on the whole police thing. I think that there needs to be massive, massive, massive reform to the police system in this country.
I do agree with them having body cams, because there have been some police officers that were wrongfully accused, and then there was there were some that were corrupted, of course, as any problems on any police force has had. But there does need to have, they do need to have body cams on them.
Well, it's more than that, because there's also the blue wall of silence, right? So you can't just have body cams. You also, what I think would be effective is if it was mandatory for police who patrol bad neighborhoods, if they had to live in those areas that they typically have to patrol in. And maybe you made it to where they got time and a half pay for every hour they volunteer in a community that's like considered a low income community.
But
right?
what about the risks? Because if you're in a bad neighborhood, a particularly bad neighborhood, and a police officer is worried about maybe being attacked by a citizen, because there have been attacks on police officers, unprovoked. What do you think should happen?
If somebody attacks a police officer?
Yes.
They should be charged and go to prison.
No, but I mean, what do you think that they should do to protect themselves?
I think if you ingrained yourself into the community, that would be less of an issue.
I don't know that it would work.
I think it would.
I mean, it might work, but there are young men and even young women.
There are.
Wait, I wasn't finished.
Go ahead.
There are young men and young women that really do hate the police for whatever reason, whether they have a reason or they were just taught to hate them. And I'm just saying, I mean, what can a police officer do?
I'm telling you what they can do.
Let me give you an example. Did you remember those two police officers that were in, I think it was LA? One 31-year-old woman gets shot in the jaw. She's helping her 24-year-old partner by putting a tourniquet on him because he also got shot. And she almost didn't survive. She calls 911. She's bleeding a lot. They are able to take them to the hospital and were able to treat them because of what she did. And this was they did not provoke anybody. They were just sitting in their patrol car.
Okay.
So what do you think should happen?
Let me break this down to you. I'm not going to speak to that particular case because I'm not sure if the media reports were correct.
Yeah, they were correct. I actually did hear the actual 911 call from this woman.
But we don't know if those officers did anything to provoke the
No, they
attackers.
didn't. They were in their car. They didn't get out of their car.
But babes.
There was actual...
Babes.
Bubs, listen to me. You have to listen to me sometimes. You know that.
Oh, you're getting tickled up with
Listen.
this. All right, stop. We don't know if they had...
You can find it.
Okay, but here's what I'm saying. We don't know if they had done anything earlier in that week to provoke the people who attacked them, and that doesn't make it right. I'm just saying that I don't have all the full facts, but I can I can speak generally about.
But as far as I understand it, they were sitting in their car, not doing anything. They weren't even out of their car. I don't remember who shot them necessarily, but she was shot in the face. He was also shot. I can't remember if it was the arm or what have you, but she made a tourniquet, put that on his arm, and he's only 24. She's 31. She's calling 911, and already she's bleeding, and she's trying to explain, look, I got shot in the jaw, and then she's saying that she was trying to help her partner, and the guy gets on the phone and says, yes, she has tried to help me. She put a tourniquet on me, and I'm okay, and now I'm trying to make sure that she's okay because she could have bled out.
Okay. On the surface, it sounds very tragic. I can't talk about them, but I will talk generally. I think what needs to happen is that I think if police officers really made themselves a part of the community that they work in, and I know that it's, you may be called to a specific area that's away from the area that you typically work in, but generally speaking, I think if you became a part of the community that you worked in, you would have less issues with stuff like that because the community would know you. And I also think it would broaden police officers' perspective on the type of people that they're going after.
Do you think that, and I think we're generally talking about more urban areas, do you think that the citizens, what my question is, do you think that any of these citizens that live in these cities, do you think that it would behoove them to educate themselves by I don't know, doing something to get to know these police officers?
I think it would be helpful, but I also believe that there's a lot of mistrust for many different reasons. And if the police officers gave the olive branch of like, okay, I'm here in this community. I'm living in this community here now. So I'm not just coming here to work and arrest everybody, but I'm actually living in the community and want to be a part of it. That would go a long way to humanizing people. And the other thing I think is, I believe it would be really helpful to have zero interest loans for police officers who wanted to buy a house in the areas that they work. Because that would encourage them to live in those areas. And I think we need to end the drug war. It's silly.
It is not silly. And I'll tell you why it's not silly. Think about and I'm not just talking about street drugs or think about all the problems that alcohol has caused. Yes. Okay, alcohol. We have a history of prohibition, but alcohol prevailed, and look how many crashes have happened. Look how many people's lives have been ruined by alcoholism.
So my answer to that, babes.
I wasn't done yet. You like to interrupt too, Bob.
You talk. Go ahead.
Are you going to listen now?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
But I do have an answer, but go ahead.
I honestly think that because people have been, I've noticed that a lot of people have been known to self-medicate themselves. Yes. Many drugs. And I think it's gotten way out of control. It isn't just kids being self-medicated. It's people in their 20s, 30s, however old it is. I mean, the thing that they run to is whatever street drugs they have or whatever has been legalized. And I think it's out of control. It's completely out of control. And now their minds and bodies are completely going downhill. downhill fast. And
Okay.
I don't think that drugs are solving anything.
Let me respond to that. You said a couple of different things that I want to get to. If we made the
I'm sorry. I just need to say one more point, and then you can go on. I'm sorry. And think about this. It's not just the person who's taking these substances, but the people that are taking these substances, and I mean regularly.
Yes.
Not just on occasion, but regularly, are putting other people in danger that choose not to take these substances. Whether they're driving, whether they're in this person's home. And I think that just because something is accepted like that, not everybody is going to feel comfortable.
Okay. Let me address.
I think it's caused a lot more problems.
You gonna let me talk?
I will.
Okay.
Yes, go on.
Let's talk about laws around drunk driving, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or if you wanted to expand that, laws to do with being, let's just focus on drunk driving for now. If they wanted to make the law stronger and say, okay, if you're caught drunk driving, you're going to go to jail for a year. Or if you're caught smoking a joint, you're going to go to jail for a year. That's an interesting conversation. And I think it's one that has some validity. But if we're talking about somebody just wants to do something in the privacy of their home, I don't have an issue with that. And I think that by keeping the drug war alive, it creates this weird social stigma that is oftentimes holds people back. So for example, if you're a teenager and you're caught with some joints and you go to juvenile hall, now you're in the system.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that if you're in the system already, it's harder to break that. But imagine a society to where you're a teenager, you're caught with a couple of joints, and maybe the cop says, well, you're a little bit too young, you're not legal yet, so we're just going to take this away and go about your day. Well, maybe you could make the argument, well, that kid's not going to learn from his lesson. He may smoke when he gets older. But you could also make the counter argument, well, now he doesn't have a criminal record. And now there's going to be less of a stigma of him moving forward with his life.
I totally disagree with the second point, and I'll tell you why. The more you give a kid liberty to do what he or she wants to do, with putting possibly a harmful substance in their body, and then going out into the world and conducting whatever business they're doing. They're under the influence of something, whether it's drugs or alcohol. It's completely impaired their judgment. They can't think straight. They're constantly making really dumb decisions. And you expect, to let the kid off is like, well, okay, if I do this if I keep doing this, then, if I keep doing this, I honestly think it's an incentive for a young woman or a young man to keep doing what they're doing, and then they won't get caught. Okay. I just think that it's only going to cause more problems.
Another thing, babes, you could do is have better education around drug use in this country. Instead of saying, all right, teachers have to demonize drug use completely. Well, in Europe, kids are allowed to drink at a certain age, right? They're allowed to have a little bit of champagne or...
Yes, but we don't live in Europe, and that's why I think that Europe is not doing very well because of that. I mean, I've been hearing some things about how Europe is going downhill as well.
I'm not saying that you should give a 3-year-old a bottle of vodka and cocaine, but what I am saying is you could have a reasonable discussion about drug use isn't...
But think about this, Bubs. Yes, people want to argue, well, it's my life. I can do what I want to do, right? I can put whatever I want in my body.
Yes.
But what about those families that have lost people because of stupid decisions that they were making while they were on, a street drug like cocaine, or while they were on PCP, or why, their marijuana, addiction has taken over their. I mean, think
Okay.
about that. Think about those families that have lost people or.
I am, because I come from a family like that. But here's what I'm trying to say. Like, you're looking at it from a different angle than I am, but I actually come from a family where a lot of people have been lost through things like that. And I would say actually the opposite. Think of what could have happened in many of these people's lives if, instead of demonizing what they were doing, we accepted them and had a reasonable conversation early on before it got to the point where they were using whatever hardcore drug they were using, and talk to them and try to find out, well, why are they using it, instead of like demonizing those habits.
Well, there's a reason for that, because it's only caused more harm than good. I don't see anything good about it. I think that there are people that just want to get high because they don't want to feel. They don't want to feel, so they self-medicate and they self-medicate. But I think the best thing is to feel, so you know how to deal with your problems instead of running away from your problems and self-medicating.
Let me give you a couple of examples of good things that have come out of drug use.
Oh, please.
Oh, please.
There's nothing you can say to convince me.
I know you don't have an iPhone.
I don't.
But you're aware of it.
Of course.
Do you think it's good for blind people that they have access to the web?
This is different, though.
No, babes, you wanted me to make a point.
In some ways, yes, it is.
In some ways, yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Some ways, it does help. And you can use it for good.
We would agree that this is because of the iPhone, because Android accessibility isn't on par with what the iPhone is. They're way behind. They've gotten better, but they're still behind, right? We would agree on that?
Of course.
Okay. Do you like the music of the Beatles?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I know. They did use drugs. I get it.
Okay. Steve Jobs.
Yes, I know. Steve Jobs used drugs. I get it. He made the argument that he had some creative thinking.
He didn't just say that. He said it was one of the most, using LSD was one of the most important life-changing decisions of his entire life.
Yeah, but people have said that a lot. Oh, yeah, because I use this drug. That's now my crutch for creative thinking, but they're not willing to be off of it and actually think for themselves. That's how I see it.
But I give you like real world examples, and you're like, yeah, but who cares?
No, Bubs, I'm serious, Bubs. I mean, I just think that people will use a drug as a crutch for the reason why they think so creatively, and I don't agree with it. I think that it does more damage than good to your mind. It also takes away your awareness of what's really going on, and people just don't want to feel anymore. And
okay,
I think it's a horrible thing.
Let me give you another example that I don't think I've talked about here before. Are you a fan of the TV show Friends?
Yes, I am.
You know who this person, Jennifer Aniston, is?
Yes.
You a fan of hers? You think the show Friends is better because it had her on it?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that. I just think she was a good cast member.
She's a good cast member.
Yes.
You know that she has openly admitted that she smoked weed in the past?
So I don't care about people's drug use. Bubs, a lot of people have said that. Oh yeah, I smoked weed, but I didn't inhale.
I think she said she inhaled. I could be wrong with that, but
well, so what's your point?
My point is, babes, you might not have Ronnie. What's your character's name?
Rachel.
Rachel. You may not have Rachel on Friends the same way if Jennifer Aniston didn't.
I'm sorry. That is just the most stupidest argument I ever heard in my life.
I give you examples. And
I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm sorry.
I don't like this one.
Bubs. No, I'm being completely honest. I think that's one of the dumbest arguments I ever heard made in my entire life.
You are a conservative, which presumably means that you are you have mixed feelings on the Bush family.
I don't have mixed feelings on the Bush family. I think they're a part of the establishment, and I really have a problem with establishment people of all kinds.
Okay, well, I agree with you. I think that the Bushes are horrible, and I think that it's funny that
I don't know that they should be blamed for everything, but I don't think that they should
be blamed for a lot.
Bubs,
they should
listen. You see, I gotta keep this boy in check.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Can I speak, please?
I barely said anything.
Yes, you have.
Keep going.
Yes, you have. So anyway, I have a real problem with establishment people because, well, you already know why. You already know why. Go on.
Good. But here it is. You say give you examples. And I give you examples, and each one you're like, well, that doesn't count. We're not counting that one. Give me
Well, doesn't it make it a better conversation when somebody doesn't just agree and say, oh, okay, well, that's interesting.
It does, but it also makes it more authentic when I present, stuff to you and you're just like, well, let me think about that.
Well, no, because I don't agree with it. I'm not going to say, oh, okay, let me think about it. Sure, it's all hunky-dory. No, I'm going to say, I don't agree with it. I'm sorry. I don't agree with it, and I think it's ridiculous.
That's interesting to me, babes.
I'm not shouting you down. I'm not calling you names.
No.
I'm just saying, I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's a ridiculous argument.
There is a very good argument to be made that without psychedelics, our world would be a lot less accessible to blind people.
Yeah, okay. Well, a lot of people would say the opposite about Ritalin. Like, how creative would a person be if they weren't on Ritalin?
No, but babes, you're conflating two different things. So,
well,
let me break this down to you. And we got way off the issue of defund the police.
Okay, I know we did.
So we can go back to that at some point. But there's a difference between using drugs and abusing them. So I actually think that you just made a really interesting point about Ritalin. But I don't think that it proves that all drugs should be illegal. I think what it proves is we should look at how often these medications are being prescribed to kids.
Okay, well, think about this, Bubs. Since we want to talk about defunding the police,
yes,
do you think that some of these people that are vandalizing downtown Portland or doing all these things, do you think some of these people are actually in their right mind?
No.
Okay, do you think that some of them possibly have been on something?
Absolutely, but here's the issue, what I think you're missing. And I think your point is going to be, well, if they weren't on drugs, they wouldn't be vandalizing so much.
No, that's not what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I'm trying to say that with all this chaos, because now people have freedoms to take what they want, to they're not being held accountable for vandalizing stuff. Now lawlessness and chaos ensues. And I think drugs are a big problem I think drugs are a big problem concerning that.
I think how we look at drugs in our society is a big issue.
No, the issue is that people don't want to feel pain. And because they don't want to feel pain, they want to take whatever they can to numb themselves until they either go into a drunken stupor, a drug binge, or they eventually overdose.
I think that's your right as a citizen.
And I don't want to be around when somebody is on the influence.
But here's the thing. Drugs are illegal and this type of stuff is going on.
And this has happened because these things are happening because a lot of these drugs are coming from the border. Other countries.
Oh.
Like in Colombia. Colombia has been known for drug cartels.
Well, what I would say, babes, if all drugs were legal, the drug cartels would go away because there wouldn't be any profit in it. And it would make it easier for us to treat people with drug addiction because they could get therapy out in the open instead of having to kind of do these backhanded shenanigans to get help for their use. Yeah,
well, look what's going on in Seattle. They have sites where people are shooting up and in plain view. Mm-hmm. Do you think that is at all dangerous for anyone that's passing by that area? Because heroin is a very dangerous drug.
Okay.
And now, and they are providing a way for these people to shoot up in broad daylight. And that really is very, that scares me a lot.
Okay. So, one, I haven't heard about this. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I'm not familiar with this. The thing I would say is that sounds a little bit dangerous to me, but something that I think you're failing to neglect is if we had a standardized model, if like drugs were legal across the board, then we could experiment with different types of therapy and find out what's more effective. And because it's sort of like wishy-washy of what's legal here, what's legal there, it means that there's less testing on the effectiveness of certain treatments, which leads to things like what may or may not be going on in Seattle right now.
But I think the end result of all these drugs being legal is only going to get worse. I don't see anything positive out of it. I really don't.
I disagree. But time will tell, babes. I do believe that there's a likelihood within the next 10 years that marijuana becomes legal at the federal level.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think I see nothing. I see nothing good from this.
I think all drugs should be legal, but you already know that.
Of course you do.
Yes. But so
crazy people on meth, running rampant, committing violence.
Well, you could still punish people for breaking the law. It's still illegal to just break into a store. Even if somebody's on meth, it doesn't give them a free pass. So that's what I would say to that, Jaylo. And I also say I need a kiss.
No.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
You might have something in you. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Babes, no joking. Babes.
Okay. You smell like aloe.
Thank you, Jay. Well,
okay.
I want to get back to the defund the police thing, but here's a quick story. I was coming over here this morning and talking with the driver because I take the Lyft service, not the one that blind people take.
Not the one that I've taken, but the Lyft app.
Yes. And we were talking about politics, and I said, "Oh, my girlfriend's super conservative, and I'm very liberal." He asked me, "Well, how do y'all deal with that?" And I said, "We just discuss it openly, and that's the way to deal with it." So, I don't know if that helps or not.
Okay, what is that?
I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Babes.
Okay.
Like, what do you have to do with the price of beans today? Okay.
Well, I think for the most part, we have dealt with it pretty well. I mean, we don't. The good thing is that we're not super explosive people, and we don't have to have a big fight all the time after we debate things like this. But I think it's good
to debate.
I think it's good to debate. I don't always like to debate, but I think it is good to talk about things that are concerning.
I agree. I saw in the news last night that there have been 30 deaths from shooting this year in Portland so far.
I'm surprised. I thought there was more.
But last year, I think it was something like 5 by this time last year.
Wow.
And I don't think any of the news anchors said anything about, well, is this related to defunding the police? Which I felt was a little bit disingenuous.
I would agree with you on that. I'm surprised. I thought it was more shootings.
I think there's been more shootings, but that's the number of people who have died from gun violence. So somebody might get shot, but they might live through it. And I believe this was just counting deaths. Now, it's also possible I was high from the euphoria of hearing that I'm not going to have to wear a mask that often, and starting mid-June. But I believe that's what it was. And I found that very disturbing that nobody on the news media would say, well, maybe this is related to defund the police.
Well, they're not going to say that.
Oh.
I mean, I think they're kind of, this is just my opinion, but I think they're partial to, how the, political, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know if it's because they just don't want to talk about it or because they don't want to think that, because we made a mistake in defunding the police, now everything is run amok.
Yeah. And we definitely need huge police reform.
I think, here's my thing.
Go ahead.
I think that Mayor Wheeler needs to be out of office.
He's a person you voted for, and I did not.
I should have voted for somebody else, or maybe somebody on the ballot, but that was my fault. He needs to be recalled and out of office. And something needs to be done because Portland and Seattle and San Francisco and these, and I'm just naming a few. There's a lot of cities this is happening to, like Baltimore, Minneapolis. Something really needs to be done quickly because this is absolutely insane. Insane.
On the other hand, this is going to sound weird.
Well, a lot of things you say are weird.
But I'm kind of glad Portland is getting a bad rep right now.
Why?
In the sense that maybe it encourages less people to move here.
Well, it isn't just more people moving here. We've talked about China buying these properties and raising the prices of these properties that people want to get. So it's not helping that China is doing something like this.
No.
It doesn't help. And it isn't just that more people are moving here, but China isn't helping by buying these properties. So that's a big problem.
I do wonder, babes, what's going to happen between us and China in even the next year. Because something has to be done.
We need to get away from them fast. I mean, they're taking over all of our stores, all of our corporations. They're taking over the meat industry. They're taking over medications that we should not be getting medications from them. My mom was even saying about how the Chinese government can make something look real, but it's actually counterfeit. Like real vegetables could look real, but they're really counterfeit vegetables. It's crazy stuff. So how we are going to get away from them, I don't know, but they are not our allies. It's just not good.
Yeah, but I don't think any president has really taken significant steps to get away from China, though. Including Joe Biden, but no one before him did either. As far as I know.
Well, no, not necessarily. Not necessarily because, and I don't know if you've been hearing about this, but Carrier Conditioners. Carrier is, the company that has, that sells air conditioners. And they were almost going to have to go to Mexico. I don't know if you remember that.
They did go to Mexico. That's a story where Trump supposedly saved the jobs.
No. He was trying. He wanted to he got them back into the U.S.
No, but they closed down that plant like 3 months later and sent all the jobs over to Mexico. But that Mexico is different from China, though.
But all I'm saying is that we need to get away from them. I'm not sure how, but we cannot get our goods from them anymore.
Yeah, but that wasn't the best example.
No, I know. But I'm just trying to say that that he has been trying to get more people out of other country and more business out of other countries and into our country. Well, and I think he's been the one that I can say has been actively trying to do that.
Stop. I would make the argument, babes, that sounds good on paper to say, well, Trump, rah, America.
No, but
it's not so much about retreating from the rest of the world as it is changing our relationship with certain countries.
No, but he has been actively trying to move businesses to the U.S. so that we can have that, we can say that businesses are made in the USA, and he was actively trying to do that. And
I don't know.
No, Bubs, if you would have listened to a lot of his speeches, a lot of his rallies, you would have known that.
But don't you think, babes?
No.
That I know you're a Trump fan.
Bubs!
I'm joking, babes.
Okay, that's it.
I love you.
That's it.
I love you.
That's it, Bubs. It's fighting words. Ah!
Hold on. All right, let's talk about this.
Tickle twoosh.
Don't you think that it's nice that he maybe says some stuff you agree with in speeches, but that doesn't necessarily reflect his policies?
Okay, first off, First off, Bub.
Go ahead.
Because I have suggested that you actually listen to these speeches and rallies that I told you about, I think it definitely reflects his policies. And just because your media sources aren't reporting it, that doesn't mean that it hasn't happened. He's made a lot of promises and he's kept a lot of promises.
He's kept promises.
He has kept promises.
Really?
For one thing, he has promised to move the Israeli embassy, and he did, to Jerusalem. No other president has done that. He has promised to bring Korean veterans that have been in North Korea home.
Did he do that?
Yes, he did.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
I don't know.
It is on record.
Okay.
It is on record. He is the only president that has brought soldiers from North Korea home. He has made a promise about building the wall that was underway. That has been.
That was by the way, babes. Just so you know, that was not funded by the U.S. government. That was funded by a private group.
Well, Bubs, regardless of that,
so he did not really.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He didn't raise the money for it.
Well,
and by the way, the wall is a bad idea.
It is not a bad idea.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. If you want some illegal aliens coming in and raping and pillaging, and drugs coming from other countries, I'm being serious, Bubs. If you really think that our borders should be open, then we're no longer going to be a safe country. Countries need to have borders.
I think it's a very complicated issue that is above my pay grade.
It is not that complicated.
I think to classify everybody who comes over here is just they're going to rape everybody and bring over weapons and drugs is not accurate. There are a lot of people who come to this country who just want to make a better life for themselves and make our country better.
But the problem is that some people may not have committed these crimes, but they are trying to eat at our table, and they do not have the right to eat at our table just because they come to the country and they decide to raise kids in the country, but they won't take care of their status. And I think that's wrong. You can't just expect someone to come to your house, stay for as long as they want to, eat all your food, use your bathroom, sleep in your beds, and they don't make a contract with you saying, hey, you can stay here for a while, or sign a lease with you and say, hey, you can rent out this room.
I think that,
and not do anything to contribute.
I think that is a massive simplification.
That is not a simplification. That is exactly what's going on. And I think we're getting off subject here.
What about all the scientists who come over to this country? All the doctors who contributed their services to this country, who didn't have to come here, and who have made this place a better nation?
I don't know of any doctors that I can think of that actually has not become a citizen.
Yeah, but maybe they came over here illegally and then they became a citizen. They eventually became a citizen. I'm talking about the ones that haven't become citizens. But maybe there's complicated reasons why they haven't become citizens. Maybe it's not just, I want to steal from America. But there could be things that you don't know about.
Think about this, Bubs. If you're going into a different country, they have a policy as to how you become a citizen of their country, and you have to follow that policy. Otherwise, you can't live in their country legally.
I agree with you. I think...
And I think that America is no exception. We have to have a harder policy so that we don't just have people coming in and they're causing they're hurting children, they're taking away people's jobs, and I think that there needs to be a vetting. They have to be vetted. That's the way it should happen. They have to be vetted before they come in here.
I think when it's worded as they're hurting children and they're taking away jobs.
But a lot of them are.
A lot of them are, but I think most of them are contributing to our society in a meaningful way. And when it's phrased like, they're hurting children, they're taking away jobs.
No, but it's happening a lot, though. It's not just happening here and there. It's happening a lot. And just because there are a few people that are not going to hurt people, they need to follow our policies, and that should be the end of that. Just like how if I was moving to the Philippines and I
Yes.
want to become a citizen, there's a process for me to get citizenship there. And there's also a process for Filipinos to come to America and get citizenship just as much as it is for me to do that. So I don't think that America should be, I don't think that there should be any exceptions to the rule.
I agree with you, but I think that it's also a little bit more complex, and it's beyond it's beyond my knowledge of what to do. But I think to just say, oh, most of them are raping our women and stealing from our country.
Well, not necessarily most, but a lot of people. We cannot, I've been hearing more and more and more stories about people being killed by a person that has been deported more than once. Okay. Not just, oh, they just came in here for a day or two. They've been deported more than once, and they should not have been here because they were a criminal in another country, or they have been criminalized before because of whatever they did. So that's a huge problem. And to just let anybody in here is asking for more trouble and problems. Anyway, the defunding the police, we've veered away from that.
We've basically, it was a bad idea. And
now we're paying the price for it.
And now we are paying the price for it. And I don't know.
It is not a good idea. Would you agree with me, Bubs?
Go ahead.
Because when people when states wanted to defund the police in their cities, don't you think, and they wanted to just use social workers to mediate this, do you think that would be a bad idea if someone was trying to break into my house and a social worker was sent
Absolutely.
It is a horrible idea because it's not within their jurisdiction to do that.
I would say instead of defund the police, there should be a movement to reform the police.
I do think that there needs to be, I think you're right. I think that, yes, there are corrupt police officers, but there are actual police officers that really want to do their jobs. And by taking them off of the force and not letting them take care of crimes is really asking for problems.
Yeah, but we do need a lot of police reform in this country.
I also think that young kids need to be educated, even more so, not to provoke a police officer, intentionally provoke them, because they will be arrested, and they should not resist arrest. That's the way I see it.
Well,
a lot of cases that this has happened to, I've been hearing a lot of cases where police officers were trying to do their job and they were trying to arrest somebody and stop it. What are you doing?
Just laying my head on your bosom.
Ugh. Why?
Because I like to.
Okay. Anyway, the people that a lot of these cases has happened to have actually resisted arrest, and they wouldn't obey a police officer's orders, and they were the ones who provoked them. So I think that there needs to be education for kids.
And in a lot of situations, the cops just went up and shot somebody. So it's a complicated situation, but it made for a good topic, babes.
Okay. I don't think it's as complicated as you're making it, but...
No, but I think that's the fault. Conservatives like to look at things in a box. And
no, we don't.
I think so.
No, we don't. I think liberals, I'm not talking about the ones that are not as far left, but the radical left ones, want to look at it, this problem, they're not looking at the root of the problem, is what I'm trying to say.
I think it depends on the issue. There are definitely problems with people on the radical left. But I believe that conservatives generally just go down one line of thinking, and they're not allowed to ask questions. It's like what happened with the warmonger lady this week, Liz Cheney, right? Like, the conservatives now are turning on her and calling her a warmonger and a war criminal, which is true.
Yes, her father was another.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah.
But here's the problem I had with using that against Liz Cheney. Nobody was saying that about her 2 years ago in the conservative world. And now all of a sudden, because he turned against Trump, everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon of she's a war criminal.
Well, hold on though, Bubs. She wasn't doing herself any favors by pretending that she was for the people. She wasn't doing herself any favors. And the reason why I believe that they have been turning on her, and I know you're not going to agree with me, but because she was an establishment Republican, and we know about establishment politicians are not going to do the will of the people. We found out that she is, in fact, only in it for herself. And she needed to be held accountable.
Here's where I disagree with you. We didn't find this out. It's been known since the beginning. And the problem I have with the Republicans turning on her, she is a bad person. I don't disagree when Republicans say, oh, she's a warmonger. She's a bad person. She should be out of office.
Very correct.
And I agree with that. My problem is, why weren't they saying this in 2018 or 2017 or even 2019?
I'm sure that there were some that were saying
but
it,
it wasn't.
Hold on. I think that maybe there were some, and I can't speak for any of their meetings in the House or the Senate or whatever. But I'm sure that there were some Republicans that were saying, why isn't she out? Because there are, establishment Republicans like Lindsey Graham or, Mitch McConnell.
What's that for?
Quit interrupting me.
Go ahead.
I mean, we can name as many as we want to, and they haven't been doing anything, and maybe that's why, a lot of them were not speaking out, because they, not every Republican was completely on board with it.
Okay, so here's a question I would ask you. Donald Trump, Republicans or conservatives rather, are led to believe he always says it like it is, right?
Yes.
I don't believe that to be true, but you already know that.
Yes.
Why didn't he come out against Liz Cheney in, let's say, 2017? Publicly.
I don't know why. I really don't know why. Maybe it's because she didn't do anything to cause alarm. I don't know. I can't tell you that. I can't answer the question.
Okay.
One more time.
Oh, okay.
Well, Bubs, you were interrupting me too, Bubs.
No, I wasn't. But babes, all I would say is ask those types of questions. You can still hate Liz Cheney, and I do, but ask why. Well, okay, why didn't Donald Trump come out against her before now?
Well, I would ask the same thing for the left. I mean, why hasn't Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and all those people that have been in office for years, including Joe Biden, why aren't they being held accountable? I
completely agree, but a lot of the media I watch has asked those same questions.
I mean, why? I don't even know why Lindsey Graham is still in the Senate. I think he should be out. Yes. I don't like that he'll just say something and he won't do anything about it. I also think that Mitch McConnell should be out of his seat. I mean, I have a lot, and there are conservatives that are speaking out and saying, hey, we got to do something about these Republicans that aren't doing anything for the people. And I think that now it's becoming a big problem. And I'm glad it is being talked about. It's not just being dismissed.
Okay, I would just say ask some critical thinking questions. That's all I'm saying, babe.
Oh, hold on. I gotta.
I love you, Jaylo. Give me a kiss.
I'll do it afterwards. Okay. Now, shall we lighten up this conversation? Because we're talking some heavy stuff here.
We're going deep there, Jaylo.
Have you ever thought of finding out a way, have you ever thought about learning how to do some chocolate making?
I actually have thought about that.
Yeah.
You mean like from scratch?
No. I mean putting chocolate in molds and not actually getting like the cocoa bean or the cacao bean.
Okay, like doing molds of chocolate. I have thought about that.
Because I know about it a little bit. I've never done it. I know some friends were making chocolate, but it sounds like something fun to do.
I don't think it's that hard either.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you have to do for that? Do you know?
I don't know the process, but I'm sure we could find out, babes. If you wanted to do something like that, make a bizarre looking cake.
How bizarre?
We can make a cake of Ted Cruz on the cross.
Oh, Bubs, come on. It's very sacrilegious.
Oh, really?
Yes.
But didn't the Romans stone other people who weren't Jesus?
Well, they there were two robbers on each side of him.
Oh. Well, what we could do then is we can make a cake. No. Here's what we do. We make a cake of Ted Cruz trying to pull up his bootstraps.
Bubs.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I do not want to make a cake of an establishment politician, no matter who it is, Bubs.
No, that's okay, babes. No, but all jokes aside, we could have fun doing. We can make a Star Trek cake if you wanted to.
Or, like, I always wondered what it was like to make bonbons or truffles, because I'm always looking at, like, I've seen videos of chocolatiers do that, and I think that is kind of cool. How do you do that? You know,
I think we could figure that out.
That'd be kind of interesting.
I would like to know. Actually.
I was supposed to go to, this was like years ago. I think this was like in 2004. I was supposed to go to a chocolate fest thing, and I think there were some like chocolatiers there, but there was something I was going through, and I decided not to go, was it?
Oh, that sounds like so much fun.
I know, but, I was going through some problems, and certain people were going to be there, and I didn't really want to be around them, and yeah.
Fair enough there, Jaylo.
But yeah, they had this chocolate fest thing going on, and I forgot what part of Washington, and it would have been really cool.
Did I tell you, babes, that I saw a video about how to make what is it called? The Geneva cookies that's in the collection of the...
with the shortbread covered in chocolate?
Yeah.
And I think it was like walnuts or something, or nuts. Yep. Yeah, it's good stuff.
It looked pretty interesting.
Really?
Yeah. This was a while ago.
You know what I want to know how to make is the Milanos.
That would be good.
Like with the mint chocolate ones or the double dark chocolate ones, and how they make their shape. Because the Pepperidge Farm brand of cookies is like one of my favorite brands that I like.
They're pretty good.
They are, and they're very unique to one another.
Yes.
Yeah.
That might be fun, babes.
Yes.
Yes, you will.
Yes, they are.
Yes, you will.
Yes, I like occasional like Keebler and Oreos once in a while, but the Pepperidge Farm cookies are like my favorites. I think.
And once you figured out how to make it, you could really get creative with it.
Yes, I love the pirouettes. I wonder how they're what the shapes, what is the consistency of what goes into making the cookies, like what's actually put in there. I think it's really cool. They're pretty good.
That could be a lot of fun, babes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will.
That's white.
That's white. What else did you get into this week, babes?
I think I said that I listened to some of my book, and I have like 9 more chapters to listen to. It's really good.
Sorry, go ahead.
And some of the myths end really weird and really sad.
Give me an example.
Like one of the myths ended with these two mortals that were stuck to this bench because it was a magic bench, and Hades put a spell on it, and whenever they would try to get off of the bench, they would be pulling part of themselves off of it.
Oh, that's fun.
And King Midas kills himself because he doesn't like the shape of his ears. I don't know. It's sad, but that's how Greek myths end.
Last night, I went down this YouTube rabbit hole of watching people talking about different Star Trek novels.
Oh, really?
And I have like a bunch of them, and I've read many of the Star Trek novels before. But the last video I watched about it, there was this guy who had inherited a couple boxes of Star Trek books, and he estimated...
Inherited it from who?
What had happened was, he used to volunteer with this lady.
Yeah.
And they talked about sci-fi a lot. He wasn't really a Star Trek fan. He was more into Star Wars.
Right.
But he was open to, exploring it. And then she was diagnosed with brain cancer.
Oh.
So this guy starts helping her around her house. Eventually she dies, and in her will, she gifted him all of her Star Trek books.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So is he both interested in Star Wars and Star Trek
I
now?
think he's more of a Star Wars fan.
Right.
But he wants to keep the books for sentimental value.
Oh.
And I probably have like 700 or 800 Star Trek books in total.
Wow.
Yeah. I've only read maybe about 40 or 50 of them.
Wow.
Yes. But maybe I'll read some Star Trek books. I don't know. Because there's a lot of really good ones out there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So are they based on the series, the different series, or?
Yeah, so some of them are basically just like the episodes in book form. But then you have ones where it's new stories involving the characters, or it's sequels to particular episodes.
Yes.
Like there's a really good sequel to the episode we saw of the first series called the first episode. Can't speak. There's a couple of really good sequels to the episode Mirror Mirror from the original series.
Okay.
And some of them are about characters you never see on the TV shows, but are still in the Star Trek universe.
Mm.
So they have some good stuff out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes, Joe. Whoa.
Yes.
Jaylo.
Yes.
What self-love exercises, if any, have you been doing since the last time we saw each other?
I don't know. I don't think I have been doing anything, honestly. Well, I mean, I've been reading in the morning, but of course, I'm not really subscribed to the whole self-love thing, but I really want my sleep to come back. My sleep patterns to be regular again. That's what I want to happen this week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, good.
What about you, Bubs?
I got the shot. I would say that's the biggest self-love thing I did this week. And I've been doing more journaling.
You know what that or self-hate?
Oh my goodness. I'm going to have a summer, okay?
Oh, wow. Well, then I'll just make people bring stuff to me then.
What do you want me to bring to you?
I'll make you bring ice cream.
Babes.
I'll make you order stuff from a barbecue place and bring it to me, and you have to watch me eat it.
Oh, it is. But I'll come over here and tell you about what's going on in the outside world.
In other words, you're gonna rub it in my face, aren't you?
No, babes, no.
Miss Bubs.
No.
Well, we say that now, but I don't know. Things may change. You just don't know. I may have a summer. I don't know.
You know the thought I had this morning, babes?
Uh-oh. What?
Is, okay, things are now starting to really reopen with the lifting of the mask restrictions.
Right.
Or at least they're going in within the next couple of weeks.
Right.
Because people still have to get used to going back out. And businesses, a lot of them don't know how they're going to handle this yet. But
right.
Let's say it looks like we're reopening and I'm excited. I get the second shot. And then on June 15th, the governor comes on TV and says, we're going to require all Oregon citizens to wear masks. And my summer was supposed to start on June 16th because that would have been 2 weeks from my last vaccination.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen.
I really hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Joe.
But I do not want, I thought about this, Bubs. I do not want to see a concert in a pod.
I've been thinking about that too. As much as I love the Blues Fest,
that's just not the same.
I think we're gonna have to skip it this
It's
year.
just not the same, and it's already May. It's supposed to happen in July,
and they're supposed to email people about the Blues Festival in May, and they still haven't done it yet. So I don't know if they might even cancel what they had planned. But if they don't, I'm thinking just listening to KBOO that weekend.
Yeah, because
recording it.
It's just not the same. You want to go to a concert to actually be around people and be where the music is. I don't really want to be isolated in some pod.
I agree.
It's just ridiculous. I could just easily have a picnic with you in my living room and not, be around you and hear actual music without, being in a pod. I don't know. It's just so weird. It's like, we're not pod people.
No, you make a good point, babes.
You know what I mean? Remember, so, I don't know how much of Lost in Space you watched,
I've never seen it.
but I remember in the beginning where they were transporting and I didn't see a lot of it, but I think I saw part of the first episode. They were transporting the Robinsons to space, and they all had to be in pods or something like that in the ship. I think I might be getting that wrong, but
I don't know. I haven't seen the show.
okay.
Yes.
Yes.
I know that Matt LeBlanc from your favorite show did a remake of Lost in Space.
The movie?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see it?
No, it looked pretty bad.
Oh.
This came out in probably April or March of 1998.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, right in the middle of Friends.
And it also had Lacey Schaefer from Party 5.
Chabert.
Chabert.
Not Schaefer.
Chabert.
Chabert.
She's part bear.
I think she's French.
And bear.
I think it's, no, I think her name is like Chaubert, so it's Chabert.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think it's a French, I'm guessing it's a French name.
It's nice.
Wow, that's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Gotcha. What?
That's right. You know what I did like Matt LeBlanc in, though, babes? Was
What?
that show Episodes.
Episodes?
There's this British couple who's hired to write a sitcom.
Yeah.
And Matt LeBlanc is the star of the sitcom.
Oh, really? When did that come out?
I want to say mid-2000s.
Really?
Yeah, it was a Showtime TV series,
Okay.
I believe.
And was he good on that one?
That's pretty good.
Was he British?
No, he played basically a version of himself.
Oh, so he played a guy from the States then.
Yes.
What was the premise of the sitcom?
I just told you, this British couple is hired to write a TV
No,
show.
their sitcom.
I forget.
Oh, okay.
I forget.
Well, fine then.
Sorry, babes.
Does that mean I have to find out myself then?
That means you gotta find out by yourself, okay?
Oh, whatever.
But it doesn't mean I love you any less.
Okay.
Yes, it was. Are you excited about this weekend?
I am. So I wanted to show you, two of the movies from the Police Academy series. Number one, because I haven't seen them since I don't know how young I was. It's been that long. Number two, I always liked, watching the Police Academy things. And, in the show, you've heard of the comedian Michael Winslow.
Yes, I have.
So-
I've seen him on TV shows too.
Okay, so Michael Winslow plays one of the police officers, and he's known for his sound effects. And I think it's going to be fun.
Maybe we could call this episode Defund the Police Academy.
That's great.
We are going to spread the films out over 2 nights. So this evening, we will be watching All About Eve and Police Academy 1.
Yes.
Which I don't think most people have put those as a double feature before.
But it's okay.
Yes.
There's no rules.
No.
We don't always have to have theme movie nights or anything.
But you wanted to do a whole police parody weekend.
I did, but I'm okay with spreading it out. It's not a big deal.
So tomorrow night, we are going to watch Loaded Weapon 1 and Police Academy 2. You've not seen Loaded Weapon 1.
I don't believe I did, and if I did, then I didn't know what movie it was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are movies that I've seen that I thought that I didn't see, but it turns out that I did see them. But so we'll see.
Well, good, you. Well.
And it sounded like you liked Loaded Weapon.
I did, but I was also maybe 10 or 11 the last time I watched it.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, if it turns out to be a flop, it turns out to be a flop.
Oh my goodness, you. Well.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, the Police Academy series was very successful.
Yes, it was.
And they made a cartoon out of it, and I remember it was a fun cartoon.
Oh.
Yes.
Are there any other topics you want to discuss, babes?
No. I don't think so.
Did you have any dreams?
Yeah, when I was taking a nap, I had this odd dream. I had a dream that I was around my family, and my cousin's daughter was there, and I haven't seen this girl since she was a baby, so she probably doesn't remember me, and that makes more sense. But I remember she was there, and I think she was like a 20-something or a teenager, but she seemed like she was much smaller than what she was supposed to be. I thought she was little. but she wasn't. It was very odd.
When we took our nap, I dreamt that I was staying at this hotel. For whatever reason, I was coming back to it, and I ran into the landlord.
Yeah.
Go up to my room, and there's this big dog who just wanted to be pet and all this stuff.
Was he like, did he look like Riza?
Yes, he did. My sister's old dog.
Yeah.
And the person managing the hotel knocked on the door. I really had to pee. So for some reason, I took a water bottle. I put my penis in it and started peeing. And then I woke up and realized, oh, I actually have to pee in real life.
That is so funny. What kind of a dog was it?
I don't know.
It was just a big dog.
Big dog.
I always have dreams about hugging dogs because I'm definitely a dog person.
Mm.
I love dogs. I don't care what size they are. I think they're just one of the nicest, sweetest animals.
I love bigger dogs.
Yes.
Yes.
So they're big enough for you to ride on a horsey.
Oh my goodness. Small ones I just want to kick across the room.
They're not bad doggies.
Okay.
They're just not big doggies.
That's right, babes.
You know? Well, wait a minute though. Your sister has a smaller dog and he's become a better dog.
Oh God, how many slippers did you go through? Or pairs of shoes?
2 pairs of shoes, but he got a lot better though. He got a lot better.
Over time.
Over time. I mean, you figure out a way to mellow him out and, you know.
I showed him that I was dominant. And I think that helped.
And he's become a better dog. He's gotten much better.
Mm.
But I still wanted to hide my shoes from him in case he felt the need to bite on something.
Yes.
But he's a better dog.
Better doggy.
He's a better doggy.
Better doggy.
Yes.
All right, Jaylo, is there anything else you want to discuss?
No.
Okay. You feel good?
Yes.
All right. We had some political talk. I'm sure people like that.
Yeah, it wasn't as spicy as, much to somebody's disappointment.
Yeah.
But
I hope I didn't come off as too conservative. I don't think I did.
You never come off as conservative.
Oh, good. Okay. Good.
Yes.
Yes, babes. Well, good. Well, you want to give me a kiss?
I might.
Oh, come on, babes.
Okay.
Come on, give me a kiss. Babes, no jokey. What do you want to do after this, babes?
I'm gonna give us a snack.
I like that. Let's do that.
And we are going to kind of maybe cool off in the living room because it is a hot day today. It's going to be, I think, at least 80 degrees.
That's right.
81 degrees.
Yes.
So we are going to do that. Eventually we are going to make dinner, and that's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah. But we'll have fun with it.
Yes, we will.
Yes. All right, yeah, well.
Okay.
Bye-bye for now.
Yes, bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.